Hello and welcome to everyone. Today we have a special guest. So, can you please introduce yourself? Tell us something about your Bkfc MMA background and so on.
Hello, my name's Sheena Starr. I live up in the wonderful state of Michigan, currently covered in snow. I'm a professional bare knuckle fighter. I'm a professional MMA fighter and kickboxer.
Awesome. How long do you train these wonderful martial arts?
It's been a little bit over 10 years now.
Can you please talk a bit on your nickname?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. How did you get it? And it's kind of intriguing nickname, right?
The Puma?
Yes.
Yeah, the Puma. Well, it's kind of funny you asked that. It started off as a joke, and it was just basically me and a couple of the teammates training at the gym. And I'm a couple of years older than a couple of the guys, and someone had made a remark saying I was a cougar. And then this pro boxer, Esteban Martinez, spoke up and was like, "No, she's not old enough to be a cougar yet. That's a bitch over 40." I was like, "No, she's like 30 something, so she's like a puma. She hasn't quite graduated to a cougar yet." And then it just kind of stuck, and everybody just started calling me Puma. And I'm like, hey, it's kind of cute, and hey, I can go buy clothes with my nickname already on them and shit. You ain't gotta pay no more money.
But alright, it's kind of an intriguing nickname. So, what is your basic, fundamental fighting style? Like when I asked Caleb about his fundamental fighting style, you probably watched that one.
Yeah. I watched a couple of Caleb's interviews. Caleb's a awesome bare knuckle friend of mine, a little Mississippi country boy. As far as the fundamentals and my background goes, I originally started with like a Muay Thai type background, and just I'm kind of like a hybrid.
Alright?
I'm not really one dimensional in one area versus another, and depending on what sport I'm competing in, it's just like a mashup. I'm more of like your brawler type fighter than I am your very traditional type of uh, uh, one dimensional, or from a certain base type of of a fighter. So
Alright.
I'm kind of like all over the place. My fight style kind of reminds me a little bit of Clay Guida. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Of
Clay Guida is
course.
just yeah. He's just all over the place, and just really weird movement, and just a really unorthodox, really hard to time type of guy. Really hard to time his strikes, time any takedown. And that's how I am too. I'm weird.
Yeah, Clay Guida is known in my brain as the guy who irritated BJ Penn, I know him by that, and I know him by irritating the whole lightweight division. So yeah, I can understand what kind of a
Right.
fighter are you. So what is your favorite submission and your favorite
Um.
strike?
Well, I mean, is favorite submission. I really like the rear naked choke because I got really skinny forearms that I can really like dig right into the jugular. I got small hands, small arms, so that's a bread and butter, easier to go to. And as far as the strikes go, like I love the spinning back fist. I love and I know a lot of people aren't fans of like spinning shit because they're like, oh, it's stupid and this and that, but I've perfected it so well that I don't miss. I don't miss that shit. Like I can, like, before my spin and my turn is 50%, like I already got my eye on the target. And there's nothing more satisfying than when you land it and you just hear that that hard thunk because you're gonna land it every time. It's
So when we talk about spinning shit, do you like Carlos Condit? You remember UFC 143 against Nick Diaz.
oh yeah
So
yeah.
do you like him?
I like Diaz. I mean, I like all those fighters. Yeah, to a certain extent. There's some guys that I really just don't care for too much. But Carlos Condit and Nick Diaz, they're just a couple real, genuine type of dudes, and they're individuals in the sport. They're totally individuals. They're not really cookie cutter type fighters that are so comparable to everyone else. They're not one dimensional, and they got good personalities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Can you tell me a bit more in your tattoos on the meaning of tattoos?
My tattoos, I mean, I just got like a bunch of white trashy shit all over, you know. I mean, nothing really has, too much meaning to it. It's just like, hey, I like something, I want to design it, and I guess I'll just, put it on myself, and it just looks cool. Like this one. This is Ed Hardy right here. Just the old nostalgic type of navy deal. I got razor blades on my elbows. It's
Yeah,
from Muay Thai. From if you see my elbow,
yeah, I see,
there
I see.
there's a lot of scar tissue on my elbows from teeth. That's from Muay Thai. Elbows cutting people up and hitting the bottom teeth with the downward elbows because people don't wear mouth guards for the bottom teeth. They just wear them on the top. So, if downward elbows a lot, you'll catch those bottom teeth and you cut yourself up sometimes, with those. But besides that, no, not really. I just got some fucking white trashy shit. I roll.
Well, about your descent, you said you're Irish, right? So you were born
Yes.
in the USA, or
I'm a second generation Irish, so I was born in the United States, and so were my parents, but my grandparents were born over the puddle, so they came over here through Canada.
can you tell a bit more on your first amateur fight?
Well, my first amateur fight, I went in really cocky. I barely trained for it, and it looked easy sitting in the crowd. And I'm like, I got this and that, and I got exhausted and basically passed out from holding my breath and exhaustion and everything, and I lost. So I got humbled, and that was like my first humble experience. And then I was like, hey, I actually trained and got right back at it, man, and just kind of fell in love with it.
Who was the toughest amateur opponent you've ever met?
Dina Dime. Dina Dime. She's a professional fighter now out of the Grand Rapids, Holland area. She's a little Latino girl, man, and she was so much fun because she would actually stand with me. I didn't have the greatest experience with ever finding anybody that would strike with me, and man, she would, and she was impossible to put away. We had a couple fights. I beat her the first time, TKO, and then the second time, she beat me TKO in later rounds because it was a title fight. I took her belt away from her and it pissed her off. But man, she's fun to fight just because it was so action packed and really technical striking. And back in those days, you really didn't see that too much out of the female fighters, in my area, anyways, because they were put on cards more so as like a attraction versus any legitimacy. They weren't trained throwing helicopter swings and stuff, and all of a sudden, man, I got this girl that comes from a boxing background, and it was war. It was war. We got fight of the night both times, and she was just so much fun, and we're friends now, and it's so awesome watching her be successful now and all of that. So she's my favorite from the amateur days.
How did your first rise in professional fight go? I mean, you squared off, I think it was Shinji Nozawa, or however her name is.
Yeah, Juju, yeah,
Yeah.
Juju Unclair, Azawa or whatever. Yeah, it was kind of weird, going over and then having fans wanting me to, sign their copy of Japanese Playboy, and my opponent was on the fucking cover of it. But it would have been better if I would have brought a different coach with me. I had a coach that had a really fucking bad ego problem, and we had Anderson Silva, Wanderlei Silva behind us, like during the coaching progress. And instead of like coaching me as a fighter, telling me, helping me through my fight, he wanted to give me commands of what to do, but he wanted to do it in Brazilian Portuguese to impress Wanderlei behind. Like, it was fucking stupid, And I got an adrenaline dump. It was just it didn't go my way. It didn't go my way. I was rushed up these stairs by the coordinators, and all of a sudden, like, these big old 100-foot walls move. on each side of me, and like I just popped in my mouth guard and like got a little drink of water, and then all of a sudden there's 38,000 people in this arena, and there's pyrotechnics, and I got Lynn Hart, calling me out, screaming out my name all crazy, screaming Pride Lady out to this ring, and it was just it was an awesome experience. Besides my coach, he sucked. He got fired after that, but I was so pissed.
How did the other professional fights go? I mean,
Well, let's
MMA,
see.
other professional fights. Go ahead.
Oh, under MMA. I had a couple close ones. It's just, I'm not a good grappler. I had cancer back in 2011. I came out with nerve damage from that, and I just there's certain muscle groups that don't work, and I'm just not a strong grappler. So, I won one professional fight, as MMA, TKO at a casino, and that was great in the Pinnacle. And then the other ones were just grappling. Like I'm fighting a takedown for 2 rounds, and then finally I'm so exhausted that they just get their submission, and I'm like, this shit fucking sucks. I mean, that's why I've kind of stepped away from MMA a little bit. It's not so much of a fight anymore. It's a athletic competition, you know. And I'm a fighter. I'm a scrapper. I'm a fighter. I go to the gym. I got great coaches, great technical, this and that. But there's certain aspects of that, I just didn't like. And I didn't want to give up, and I'm like, all right, well, I can do better with this. Let me figure out how to better my blood count, because I got a low blood cell count too. And I'm like, I'd try this. Oh, fail, try it, fail. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? I was always great at boxing and kickboxing and Muay Thai. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to accept that I'm just not built for this, and I'm even built for this other shit.
So, how does one day in your life look like, and how many jobs do you do?
My jobs?
Yeah?
My. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you that well. The speaker was kind of muffled, but I do a lot of different jobs. Like I said, when I had cancer, some odd years ago, I didn't think I was going to be able to compete anymore because doctors told me I wouldn't be able to. So I went in and took it upon myself to be trained in other courses and get other certifications so I could be a part of the sport that I loved so much if I wasn't going to be able to compete. I then learned how to be a professional referee. I did that for a little bit. I learned the business side of it, and I did promoting. I've been a professional matchmaker, a licensed judge, all professionally as well, all credentials. And I also learned how to be a cut man. I remember going to all-pro female MMA events called Invicta that we have over here in the United States, and I would shadow Jacob Stitch, and he's such an awesome guy and would really take the time and explain things and, show me techniques and how he rolls the swabs and, all of that. And then I started, working as a cut man, and that progressed to bigger and bigger jobs. I worked at the Arnold's and then for Alliance MMA and local professional MMA places, and then now I work at Glory Kickboxing as a cut man, and I work at bare knuckle fighting, and I'm a cut man for them guys as well. And I just keep learning and learning and learning as I go, pro boxing, all that shit. So.
Can you describe the job of a cutman? I've never had someone who works as a cutman, so I'd like to hear more on that.
Oh, right. Well, it takes a special type of individual to be able to, really do that job. You have to have a certain sense of, mental. You have to work well under stress, and of course, blood and stuff can't bother you. You have to keep calm. Because the last thing a fighter wants to do is to get cut, and then, oh my God, you have like this, you have your cutman and they're shaking with the swab, freaking out, and of course that's going to upset your fighter, and Yeah, I was an EMT for years. I worked as an EMT, so the chaotic trauma and all of that was just something I was used to, and so after I already know what to do, I can walk into corners calm as a clam. I mean, they could totally be busted up everywhere, squirting blood, and I'm just like, do, 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 do. Oh, I'm like, oh, you're fine, it's okay. I'm totally lying to their face, like, oh, you are fucked up, but I'm not gonna let you know it. And it's just my job to get them to that next round and try to help them not take as much damage to their face as I possibly can. And I also help save promoters money too, because if I see a cut and it's still small, I can keep it from getting bigger, and I can save promotions from not having to pay extra for sutures. And then it also helps that fighter as well later on, because they don't have that scar tissue in their face. So, it's a, a craft that, I mean, I couldn't know enough of it. I constantly learn something, and I'm constantly being challenged with it every event that I work. And that's one of the reasons that, I really like that job. It's rewarding. It's something I can constantly evolve in. I'll never know everything. You know what I mean? So it's uh it's different. It's different. Everybody's different in the corner. Everybody's skin types are different. There's a lot of different skin types, especially with different nationalities and pigments and everything. Everybody's skin is just, it's very individual. It's very some people's skin's more oily than the others, and it's recognizing these differences with whoever you are helping in the corner, to be able to adapt with how you treat them versus their skin type or their skeletal bone structure and everything else. It's totally a science.
All right, why did you transition to Bkfc and how did your first Bkfc fight go?
Um, I've always liked competition, especially with combat sports. Just like with Japanese MMA, they can like soccer kick in the face and face stomp, and they have all those pride rules there, and everybody thought I was crazy. Well, bare knuckle comes along, and I'm like, holy crap, this is like cool. I wanna try this before I'm done with competing. I thought it was great. I thought it was just a really nice, cool, pure form of combat, and I wanted to do it. I was around it. I coached Tony Lopez here on and off with some of his fights, so I was able to really get a good feel of for what bare knuckle fighting was, being in his corner. And I took a fight on like 2 weeks' notice, and I went down to Biloxi, Mississippi, and it was it was kind of scary actually. It was going out for your first time, and I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm like, well, I wasn't scared. Bullshit, I was scared. I didn't know what to expect. I don't got gloves on, and then I'm looking across, the squared circle at my opponent, and so much bigger than me. She missed weight, and she just is this mean voodoo bayou chick from Louisiana with a satanic goat tattoo on her fucking stomach, like all just muscles and big, and I'm questioning my life decisions at that time, and like, oh shit. And even the way they start you off, you don't start off at corners to corners and then the ref claps and then you come out. No, they start you right in the middle, what they call toe the line, and you go right on this line, and you're right there with your opponent, and they say knuckle up, and then boom, the fight starts out right in the middle of the ring. And it's crazy, man. It was crazy. Feeling that first bare knuckle punch, it's a lot different from when you got a glove on. It's a lot different, giving them too. So I won that fight, KO round two, and I mean, it was awesome. Winning helps, of course, but I fell in love with that sport. Even more so, competing in it, going down and beating somebody in their hometown, and gaining a lot of fans because they had that Hillary shirt on that went viral. That was kind of funny.
How did your second Bkfc fight go?
It didn't go that well. It was going well. It was a great fight. I had an awesome opponent. Her name was Delaney Owen. We fought down. Actually, we were the first sanctioned female bare knuckle fight in the state of Florida. So we made a little bit of history there, and we had a good back and forth fight. Like I knocked her down, she knocked me down, and then second round I got hit right in the eyeball with a bare knuckle fist, and I got an adrenaline dump, which if anybody's ever had one of those, it sucks. My eye went black, and I thought I was blind. I'm like, oh shit. I thought my retina just got tore out, and I was gonna be blind, and my heart raced, and then boom, man, it's just like it felt like I was trying to fight underwater. My arms got heavy, nothing worked right, and the referee noticed it. He was trying to ask me questions, and I wasn't responding the way he wanted it to, and he was there for my safety, and he's like, nope, nope, no more, no more. We're all done, and I was just like, fuck, it's okay, just take steps so that shit don't happen again, I guess.
You mentioned that you accepted a bout on 72 hours notice. So, who is your opponent this weekend and
It's former Invicta athlete Christopher Knuckles Stanley. She's out of California, and she's awesome. Like we all know each other. We're all like fight fam. I've known Chris for years. I seen her fight fell through, and they were trying to match her up like last minute, and she's pretty tough. So ain't nobody was taking that fight. Nobody was taking that fight, and they were about to cancel it. And I'm like, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it. You know what? What's it paying? What's it paying? What's it worth, you guys? Hey, if you pay me, I'll come show up, save the day, man. I'll throw hands with Chris Stanley. It'd be really fun because she kind of fights like I do. She just likes to fucking throw down, and so do I. So it's gonna be a real fun fight, and I'm looking forward to it. It's it's gonna be fun. 72 hours, yeah, whatever. 72 hours, 2 weeks. It's all the same shit, really. Just as long as you're staying in the gym, and of course, I have all my medicals and everything up to date. So I'm a really good candidate for it. Make some good money, get to pay. I'll be able to pay my mom's bills, help her out for next 6 months, because we just lost my dad in December, so it's been kind of rough. And I'm got to take care of my mom. My dad told me a long time ago, if anything ever happens to me, take care of your mom, and take care of these girls. And I'm just like, I'm like, all right. And I told him I would, and here I am. Go down and run it. And I'm making that man proud right now. I'll tell you that.
yeah, I understand you. Right now, I was, to be honest, I was many times asked why I don't watch somebody's winning streak and so on and such things. But the fact is that I respect fighting, fighters and such things. I don't even watch whether someone has winning or losing streak, fighter is a fighter, right?
Right. And only really in the States, in the United States area, and, even in the UK sometimes, well, they really put an emphasis on, your record, okay? There's a shit ton of record padders out there. What a record padder is it's somebody who, they usually come from money, or they sell a lot of tickets, or they've got celebrity ties or something, and they will take nothing but easy fights. They will pad fights. It's kind of like how boxing is. The boxing industry.
Yes.
They pay people to lose so they can get these awesome records, but they're shit. They're shit. They're fucking horrible. And I've never, there's no pride or anything in any of that. And I've never done that. Like my pro record, yeah, sure, it fucking sucks, but I only fought really good people. Like I'm fighting out at Ryzen and Cage Titans and places like that. These high platform caliber people. I could have easily went out and fought for really cheap and paid to bring my opponents in and have this great record, but what's worse than that shit? You know what I mean? Like if you go to Thailand and like Muay Thai people, and they don't ask you what your record is, they ask you how many fights you have. So if you say, oh, I got 100 fights. They're like, oh, you must be really good. You got 100 fights. In the United States, they'd be like, oh, well, what's your record? Like, well, I got 100 fights. Well, how many did you win and how many did you lose? It's like, that's shouldn't be such a emphasis on how many you win and how many you lose, because it's so easy to get easy wins if you just got a couple extra dollars. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I never ask that with fighters, because I know damn well, even from matchmaking, your record don't mean shit. I can go find a 5-5 dude to beat a 7-0 dude fucking easy, because that 7-0 guy's just fought nothing but, people that he's guaranteed to win against.
Yeah, I guess the promoters won't allow it. In my state, well, there is a bit different rule. If you have ties to politicians and such things and to famous personalities and so on, they, for example, believe like, they're more famous, they're not gonna accept interviews with everybody and so on. For example, in my state, Gilbert Burns was with me, and many, many good fighters were, and in my state they say, no, we don't go with you because you not famous, you that. And when Gilbert Burns commented one of my posts, also when Wilson Hayes commented, they started to apologize. They were so funny.
Yeah, well, there's no need to be, a dick. It's like, you don't need to be famous and all this and that. Like, check, if you are willing to take time out of your day and interview me and talk with me, absolutely. If I have the time, I'm going to give it to you. I don't fucking care how many followers you have on YouTube or this and that. If you're cool, I'll be cool right back with you. There's no need to be stuck up and think you're better than everybody just because they're not as famous. I could never be that way, and shame on anybody who does that, because that's just asshole moves.
Well, in the USA, I watched all the fighters I interviewed, they watch whether you like him or not, whether you can help him or not, whether you're a fan, whether you like martial art, and it's great. It's awesome. In my state, they're like, oh, no, you don't have followers. I say, fine, but ranked UFC opponents are there, and they're like, oh no, we made a mistake. It's kind of funny, the gap between the cultures. It's kind of funny, but in the USA, it's kind of better. What do you think?
Honestly, because I've traveled many different places, in the world, and don't get me wrong, I love the USA, I love my country, I love my, fellow people, but I prefer anywhere that isn't United States when pertaining to combat sports. They're just different with everything, different with everything, like the Russians. Oh my God, they're not pussies at all. Like, they'll fucking fight anybody. They don't give a shit, and they're raised differently. Here everybody's like walking on eggshells, and it's such a drama show. It's ridiculous. Tokyo. Going to Japan. Those people are awesome out there. You could be any fighter. If you're a fighter, man, you are a celebrity, and they're bringing you gifts and wanting to take pictures, and just respectful people, And you don't get that too much in the United States. And it's I like combat sports overseas a lot more, in certain aspects. Like, we got bare knuckle fighting over in the UK. UK fighters, great. You got it in Australia. You got it up in Russia. You got it, in Chechnya, and all these other places in the world. And a lot of people are just secluded to just the United States, and they don't know there's a whole new world out there with a bunch of cool people in it.
Would you like to add something? Maybe great sponsors or something I missed to ask?
The sponsor, right now, I got this awesome man. His name's Brian Tyler. He owns this It's kind of like a charitable outreach group. They're called Bearding for Autism Awareness, and they have an autism center for children, school-age children. That's a little bit more appropriate for them than a special needs school, which they don't necessarily need because they're not, they're just different. And he always helps me out. He always helps me out. Just like right now, taking this last minute trip down. He's like, yeah, you do so much work for charity, and because I'm involved in a lot of different charities, and he's always helped me out, and I appreciate him. I appreciate him a bunch. And it's just everybody together, like all my fight friends. Team Phoenix out of Greensboro, North Carolina. They're always there for me, always support me, and this and that. People don't necessarily have to give you money to be your sponsor. Like I am like team everybody over here, like team fight family. So anytime I progress or I win something, it's like, hey, it's like we all we did it, because that's how it is. So just thank you to everybody, and thank you to you taking time out of your night and being flexible with me because I had to go to work today and I had to do insurance claim jobs, which are not fun. Those are horrible and take up a good part of my day. So thank you everybody. Don't be assholes. Be kind to animals. Turn off the news. Go hug your neighbor type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I just hope this was. I enjoyed pretty much this interview and got to say I learned many new things. I mean, you're the first who does the job of a cutman, so you can always learn
Yeah.
something new. Gilbert Burns always says that you must learn even from the defeat and also from victory and from every single day. So I agree with him absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's always a lesson to be learned with every experience. If you aren't learning the lesson, then you're not doing it right. You know?
Yeah. So thank you so much for this, and I will try to post it tomorrow. I must make a video now, and you can expect it tomorrow, maybe night your time. Depends on when my PC finishes.
Hey, it's no problem. You take your time, and thank you so much. I'll be traveling most of the day tomorrow. I fly out tomorrow for Florida, so to go do that, that'll be great. I get to go see some palm trees, get to go see some beach water, and go to this awesome venue, and see fight people. So hey, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. Thank you for the interview. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you too, and please on Sunday, Saturday, whenever the tournament takes place, my time it's Sunday. Go show those iron fists of yours. It will be good.
Ah, you bet you.
Yeah. Have a great day,
Ah,
Sheena. Right.
thank you.
All right.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.